on the dizzy heights of the natural ridge here. So this is very exaggerated and schematic, but and you're not going to see any steep slopes like that. But we're kind of here. The channel of Bayou Sauvage is down there, that little overlook thing, and then the trail going in that direction kind of goes down the slope, but you will not have a sense of going downhill. But the vegetation does change as you go. So at the end of the trail, there's what used to be a cypress swamp, but there are very, very few cypress trees left anymore. And then a marsh, which is mostly flooded land, herbaceous vegetation. So do you all want to go take a look and see what poor old Bayou Sauvage looks like? This one and other nearby refuges.
So looking at the ground right now, is this like a normal state of dryness for this area behind us, or is this?
It's fairly wet at the moment.
What's that?
It's fairly wet.
Because did it rain out here like it did on our side?
We had all that heavy rain. It's kind of gotten a little drier now, but a couple of weeks ago it rained a lot, remember? And so we're still seeing a lot of that residual water.
Okay.
So you see some cypress stumps. Look along the length of the bayou. You can kind of visualize this being a big bayou, like maybe Bayou or something like that. But it was a channel that Mississippi River water flowed through, and it would have flowed that way. Which way is it flowing now?
The wind is blowing this way. I don't know.
So that is actually water flow, and there's a culvert down there that the water's flowing into the Maxon Canal. It's just draining by gravity into the Maxon Canal. But there used to be big cypress trees along here, and after Katrina, people planted cypress trees, but I don't see very much evidence.
Is that what they're planting in that mitigation area?
There are some cypress trees kind of in the lower elevations, because if you look along if you look in that direction, you can see how where the bayou is, that's the lowest elevation, then it goes up, and the live oak trees, which are about the only big surviving trees here, they're on the highest point, which is the high part of the ridge. And then these shrubs that you can see, those are called baccharis, and they are the native invasive species. So they've really taken over since the mulching episode, and now if we did a survey of the vegetation, they'd be the dominant vegetation. And they're kind of boring looking, but they, in the fall, I don't know if you've noticed in the fall, there's all that white flowers and the white seeds that blow everywhere. That's baccharis, and it's pretty ubiquitous around here. And the monarch butterflies feed on the flowers, so they're important insects. This kind of boring-looking bush that you can see growing everywhere.
All of this?
Yes. And apparently they were pretty common before Katrina, but these are all post-Katrina babies.
What are these?
Persimmon trees. And those are also persimmon.
Do they pervert?
Taller.
Yeah.
They bear the fruit, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's supposed to be. I'm gonna have to try persimmon.
How often do they do a survey of all of the plants?
Well, we did one on Saturday, just along the trail. I don't know if the Fish and Wildlife Service ever does one, but I'm working with the Louisiana Master Naturalist Program, and we actually did like a transect down the trail. We broke into groups, and each group, and we had stations, and so each group was supposed to survey each station, and then we all got together and we made a big master list.
Okay.
That was just this transect. Archaeological site that you see from the end of the trail.
Oh, the island?
It's called Little Oak Island. And there's another island on the Cummings property. The one in the refuge is protected by refuge. So I'm not sure that the one on Cummings property is in very good shape, because people can go in there and plunder it and isn't another living tree around it.
Right, because you see these dead
And that tree that has some little green leaves coming, that's a Chinese town tree.
ones. Oh, that one standing up taller?
I'm pretty sure that is.
Above the bush.
The ones we planted on this side have done really well. We planted more on that side. Only a few.
All the saplings.
Blue collars. We picked them from the nutria.
Yeah, you can see them.
Oh, I see.
We saw it.
Yeah. So this all then was like,
You can see, if you look, the stumps
yeah.
and snags. So this
Yeah.
is a healthy big cypress. Joe Adair, refuge on the other side of the road, is actually named after him. He's 80 years old. And I asked him, do you remember this being a cypress swamp? He said yes. He didn't elaborate.
So was it his
Oh, so this is not just since Katrina. Oh, this is.
So the
Mr.
change,
Rose.
so there's
Did it.
change, there's different periods of change, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have a good idea of when this was held in Cypress Swamp. He did say that whoever cut a lot of the cypress trees down, that would have been in the early 1900s. So if he's 88, he was born in 1924. So they were still cutting cypress trees in the 1940s. But it was kind of the tail end of this, the big boom of the cypress industry. So
It's like Ferngully.
The last rainforest.
yeah, actually he was talking about the no, that was the ivory-billed woodpecker, which is a very fun gully story too. And the last, somebody was talking about how they got a phone call about somebody saying, that they'd seen an ivory-billed woodpecker, and the person they called, he was the authority, and he said, "Oh, bring it to me." So the guy shot it and brought it.
Oh my god.
No!
And that was the last. I can't. In Louisiana.
Oh my
Amazing. Just
gosh, are you serious?
And I wish I could remember all the characters, but success story.
so they planted a lot, but you only see.
Yeah, so I think the survival rate was about 20% of all the ones that we planted.
Yeah.
So you have to plant a lot, and I think that was one of their thinking on the other side of the canal where they planted, tens of thousands of trees, that they're going to have, some death going on. The survival rate will not be that high, probably, because we're going to have droughts, we're going to have, things happen. They're not going to be able to go and nurture them. Each one is not going to get watered and fertilized.
Yeah.
So they're on their own, and
It's nature. Hopefully they would be able to.
there was a big drought in 2009 just after we planted. June was like really, really hot and dry. And I went to the UK because my dad passed away then, and I was thinking about these little cypress trees and thinking they're not going to survive.
Right there.
We wasted our time, but they didn't. Chunk of them. At least in this of them, we planted all back over there, way back over there. Not many.
So you're saying it was about 5 years ago that you planted most of these then?
2009.
2009?
May
4 years ago. Oh. Okay.
With middle school students.
But they're very enthusiastic.
Yep, and high school.
So, with your education and I guess outreach, how much? Because a lot of people don't really know the value of wetlands and why are you going around planting trees and things like that. So, what kind of programs do you have in place that
Okay,
you?
we have a coastal education program, so our most of what we do is education, and so we do, and mostly field education. We get people out, mostly young people, doing hands-on science, collecting collecting information to understand their environment. And then we do some service learning too, like this project, which was we work with grant funds. So that was an EPA grant that we had. It was a service learning grant. So the idea was the kids were learning about the trees by taking care of them, and they also nurture them and have some sense of ownership. And then they plant them out in the wetlands. And they feel like they contributed, which they did, and they can come back here and say, look, these are the trees we planted.
Do you go anywhere to educating people on why the wetlands is important, how it helps?
Yes, so we talk about the values of the wetlands and why they're so important. And actually, most kids in New Orleans know how important the wetlands are to protect us from storms. So that's if you ask any group of kids in New Orleans.
Okay, I'm from California, so that's weird. That's not in our curriculum.
You do some outreach while you're here, and you talk to a group of kids and ask them, why are our coastal wetlands important? Since Katrina, they know. It's kind of been instilled in them.
Okay.
So kids know. And also they're important for our seafood. So if you take away all our coastal wetlands, our seafood will collapse. So then that's important for tourism and, the restaurants. So there's a whole network.
Yeah,
so
it is.
They understand that too, because a lot of families work in service industry and they know about it. And they know that they like seafood.
Okay.
Oh, what is the algae looking like?
Like the brown and
The brown colored looking plant that's floating on the surface is called azolla. And I'm fairly certain that is a native, it's a little fern. If we were able to get down there and get a sample, put our finger, you would see that it's like a little tiny fern.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So there's a zillion little azolla plants floating on the
we found a water moccasin.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is it still there?
He's sitting on the upside down bench.
Wow.
For myself. I'm going to take a picture of that. What type of
To take a
Water
Water
moccasin.
wow.
Like 80% of the time, they're water snakes.
Oh, okay. So they look alike?
Is it because it's like the
They
diamond?
do look alike. Moccasins are kind of fatter, like shorter and fatter, I guess. And then they do have that more triangular head. And if you can get a look at their eyes are elliptical and not round. Water snakes have round eyes, and so if you put them side by side, they're really quite different. And then there's different species of water snake. There's the diamondback water snake. Have that diamond pattern.
Please don't lose your phone.